Larry, Fort Worth Memories Museum and Groups. It is Tuesday morning, August the 5th. 6:53 in the morning. Let me see if I can tune in here. There we go. Let me turn the sound down. Good morning, Brittany and Ricky. I'm going to share it to the regular internet. Now we're going to share it to Memories Live videos and messages. Hope everybody's feeling alright out there. It's going to get to I think 90 today. It's a little cooler than it was last week. Don't know where we're eating yet. Hadn't figured that part out. I had to drive to Decatur last night. One of my children's vehicle got sideswiped, or anyway, I went and we towed it back home. She wasn't in it. She was at work. She has been auditing a place in Decatur, and I think the police were chasing this person, and he hit 2 or 3 cars, but she's fully covered. And she's off today, but she's going to go this afternoon and get a rent-a-car from Enterprise or whoever. So anyway, I was late. Heck, I didn't get back home and in bed till 11. It's way past my bedtime. Randy is in. James is in. Let's do our sponsors here this morning before I get to talking. All Blue Mountain Cafes are sponsors to Fort Worth Memories. There's 5 of them. Also, their sports bar, Stinger's Bar and Grill in Azle, which is the old Mark Dean's barbecue store, is a sponsor. And their newest addition is the Anchor out on the lake. I don't have any artwork on it yet, but I will have it soon. Tri-State Dent is our paintless dent removal sponsor. They minor dents, hail damage, all of that. They do all of that. And they work with your insurance on the deductible. Feltz Family Auto Care is in Burleson. They've got a big draw in Burleson, but they draw from Fort Worth also. Stroud Auto Supply is in the Haltom City Riverside area. Varghese Somerset is our legal sponsors. They do, George is in. They do everything from suing somebody to capital murder, so they're very, very good. In fact, 2 of the lawyers, Tiffany Burks and Christy Jack, I've interviewed them several times. Fort Worth Florist, Jeanette and her team, they have sent, good morning, they've sent flowers all over the planet for us. Grateful for Your Trees is owned by Dickie Carr. That's Richard Carr's nephew. They cut down trees, trim trees, grind down the tree stump, retaining walls, privacy fences, bobcat work. They haul off stuff for you. They do a lot of stuff. Dickie Carr Sand and Gravel. If you're in the construction business and you need 20 dump trucks full of sand, Pat and Richard Carr have Dickie Carr Sand and Gravel. Good morning. Schwartz and Hanson is our architectural sponsors. They've been with me for years and years and years. They're very active in the bicycle giveaway too. State Farm Insurance is Jenny Stewart. The way I look at it, State Farm, Allstate, and Farmers are all real good companies, and there's other ones. It's which one can give you the most coverage for the least amount of money. So it costs you absolutely nothing to call Jenny Stewart's team at State Farm. Dub Peacocks, A-Bird AC and Heating. If you haven't had your unit checked in a while, it's a good idea to get it checked. It only costs you $95. It's pretty cheap preventative maintenance. Old South Pancake Houses, 2 of them. One in Burleson closes at 9 or 10 at night. The one in Fort Worth on University is 24/7. Winstead Paint and Body, Clay Winstead. They're on White Settlement Road, 1 block west of Roberts Cutoff. The Optimist Club of Fort Worth. Now there's 2 or 3 here in Fort Worth. They're also international. They're all over the world. They do lots of great stuff for children, for youth, both boys and girls. They also provide us with a Christmas tree every year at no charge. And one of our members, Ginger Sanders, decorates it every year. So we'll have that tree here. They usually bring it a couple of days after Thanksgiving, I think, and then at Ginger's earliest convenience, she comes by and decorates it. Robertson. Fort Worth Lumber, they're down on I-35 South. They, if you need building materials, building plans, your ears must be burning, Dub. I just got through announcing your A-Bird AC and Heating. Interstate 35 South, you need to buy building materials, you need plans, you want to just talk with someone that is very knowledgeable about building, that's the place to go. Hey Robert, how you doing? K Ranch Roofing, they've been with us for many years. If you don't know if you've got roof damage or not, you know, we had a lot of high winds, hail, all kinds of inclement weather. You can call K Ranch Roofing and you'll get Bree. She's the office manager, and they'll send somebody out when it's convenient for you, and they don't charge for that, so it costs you nothing to double check your roof. Cross Electric, Brandon Cross, see, they were voted DFW's favorites. They do commercial and residential. Great company. Raines Plumbing, that's a family-owned plumbing business. They do for residential and commercial. They've done a lot of good work for a lot of our members. Brad with Termite King Pest Control. They've got all kinds of plans to fit with what works for you. You know, they come by monthly, bi-weekly, every 2 months, whatever. So you just need to call Brad and set up a plan that you want them, you know, to get on the schedule with. Railhead Barbecue, Charlie Guerin's Railhead Barbecue. Charlie is our state rep. He's also on the board of directors at Larry's Kids. He owns Railhead Barbecue, but he's really gung-ho on our bike drive. Eric Walsh is in the real estate business. He's a developer, and he's also on the board at Larry's Kids. Thanks. Hey, Tom. Rex's Bar and Grill. That's in the old Macaroni Grill, which is next to Old South on University. Man, we just had our birthday party there about 3 or 4 weeks ago. That bar, or food and bar, it looks like it belongs in Las Vegas. I mean, Rex spared no expense on that deal. It's really fantastic. We're going to have our Boxing and Cowtown program there in September, I hope. Dana Lang. Dana's in the real estate business. She's very knowledgeable about Fort Worth. She's a good lady. So if you are needing buying or selling or pricing or whatever, call Dana Lang. Our Medicare Medicaid sponsors are Andrew Wallace and Chasen, Chasen Smith, and their company is American Senior Benefits of North Texas. Boom Bond, capital B-O-M, capital B-O-N. That's Mark Perez, and he spells that P-E-R-A-Z-Z. Thank you. He does remodeling, handyman stuff. They do it all. Just if you got a lot of little things that need done, or you need some remodeling done on your house or your business, he does commercial, residential, whatever. Call Mark. He can fix you up. Rockwood go-karts and mini golf. This Saturday coming up, all go-kart rides are $1. That place will be packed. So that's Saturday, August the 9th. Hold on. I show y'all at 7. Burleson. Brittany, what do you show Burleson? We hadn't heard from Cleburne but one time recently. I only charged them 2 on that last deal because I didn't do a follow-up that evening. So anyway, Burleson, y'all are at 7. You got a question today, or? She's typing. What year did Fort Worth become? You want to know what year it was founded or what year it was incorporated? It doesn't matter. I'll tell you. This is going to be for one bike. Founded in 1849 by Major Ripley Arnold and the 2nd Dragoons. The military left in 1853. He named this fort, this compound, which did not have a stockade fence. Yeah, that's what I've got. Hey, Bill. 1853 they left. It was named after General Jenkins Worth, and he never set a foot in Fort Worth. The city was incorporated in 1873. Now Burleson's at 7. Oh, now they're at 8. Yeah, you're right. Now they're at 8. So Burleson, y'all are at 8. And we're just getting started. Y'all might be giving us $50. Well, General Worth's idea to fix the Indian problem, which the cavalry, the army, thought that there was an Indian issue. It really, in my opinion, was, we came in here and killed their food source, the buffalo, ran them out of their grounds. They only used teepees. They never built wooden structures. So really, you can't blame them for being upset. But so General Worth had an idea to make from the Trinity, where the Clear Fork and the West Fork meet, build 8 military installations between here and El Paso. And I believe Fort Worth is the only one that's even left. All the rest of them have gone away. The military originally called it, and we've talked about this 2 or 3 times, Fort Town or Camp Worth. Some citizens called it Fort Town. The military designated it as Camp Worth. No stockade fence. They had a rope line where they tied horses up, but all of the buildings that they built were built out of logs, and that's where you're confused. You asked me that the other day when you called. The people that moved in to where the fort, where the soldiers were, there were several buildings, mess hall, sleeping quarters, stables, I mean, you can imagine, officers' quarters. Nobody paid for that land because it was never owned by the U.S. military. They just came in and designated that as Fort Worth, Camp Worth. Yeah, so it was downtown where the square was. You're trying to get a idea where it was. You know where the old courthouse is 1895 courthouse, Walker, Texas Ranger film, all of that. It's right there. I mean, you can that block that encircles it, just off of that block is where Fort Worth was, the military installation. No, it was against the law to sell alcohol in the fort or within 5 miles of the fort. Of course, they broke that law many times. Well, the Indian uprising was not as bad, not hardly anything around here. Now, the Battle of Village Creek out there in Arlington, that was probably several Indians were killed, but not many Texians or soldiers. Carolyn is in. Major Ripley Arnold. So here's the deal. Before Fort Worth was ever even designated, in 1843 at Bird's Fort, which is not in Haltom City, or was not in Haltom City, it's about where Euless is. The military wanted a powwow with 9 or 10 of the Indian tribes. So the President of the Republic of Texas, General Sam Houston, came to Bird's Fort, and he waited almost little over 3 weeks. At that time, there was 5 or 6 chiefs there. The Comanches was not there. So he left General Edward Tarrant, and our county is named Tarrant County. He left him there to sign the peace treaty and to designate that, okay, Indians and settlers, here's the deal, this imaginary line that goes from this area to El Paso, Indians, you stay on this side, soldiers and settlers stay on this side. And like every treaty that the government ever signed, the people, broke that treaty in about, it was signed right at 9 a.m. that morning. By noon, we had already violated that treaty. And we broke every treaty we ever signed with the Indians. Well, you're now, yeah, I mean, we can go into that. I'd rather do that on another. I'm looking out for the kids on this deal. We've already answered that one question. Well, yeah, because now you're getting into Cynthia Ann Parker and when she was kidnapped, and so let's do that question for tomorrow and we'll get another bike. I appreciate that y'all are trying to conserve on how many bikes you owe the bike drive or the kids, but we're interested in gaining bikes for the kids, and it's a great thing that we're all doing. So y'all are pitching in. Quanah was, she had, no, that was not her only child, but the good thing about her getting kidnapped, I'll just give you a little tease, is she taught Quanah right from wrong. Although Quanah was, at 2 points of his life, was one of the most fierce warriors that ever rode on a bareback on a horse. But he knew right from wrong because his mother, she taught him that. So we'll talk about Quanah and Cynthia and the Parker County. There were so many of those Parkers that came into our area here. It was called Fort Parker. I mean, there was hundreds of them. Okay, thank you. Here again, we're infringing on. Yeah, I know. There's plenty of questions, though, that you can ask about Fort Worth or Tarrant. I'm not trying to be hard to get along with, but I'm also not trying to set a precedent of right. Okay, enough of that. You can bring them over anytime, or if y'all just want to make a donation, just let me know. The website is larryskids.org or larryskids.com. Just let me know the name so I can get with our comptroller and we can knock you off our owing us money. Or if you don't tell me, Brittany won't know and she'll be hounding you for money that you've already paid. So if y'all want to just do it, they've got, somebody shared with me the other day, there's Walmart selling those 22s for $117, but I think there's a sale coming up this weekend and they'll be $99. So you can make a notation on that on the website and put 10 bikes from the Burleson group via Larry's Live or something to that, or just tell us your name, how it's going to be listed under the debit card or credit card. Yeah, and you can donate anytime. I took in 2 bikes yesterday. The goal is 1,400 bikes. And we've given away to date this year, through last year, which is 38 years, 19,550 bikes. So this year we'll go over 20,000, and that's over $1 million worth of new bicycles. Yeah, we can talk about that too. If that's when he was in town. He was in town with one of his father-in-laws. You know, Quanah had several wives also. And he died of asphyxiation, not Quanah. Right. Quanah was a drinker. He came in, he was pretty well lit up. And they had warned him, do not blow the light out, as it's not a lantern. There's a fuel that's fed to it. You got to turn that switch to stop the fumes or the liquid, and he didn't do it, and his father-in-law was asphyxiated. And that was on a Saturday morning. Everybody in the town was out there in front of the hotel waiting for this. They were going to sign a deal. What had happened is Quanah and his father-in-law came in. The railroads had gotten with W.T. Wagner and Samuel Burke Burnett, and they were leasing 1,000,000 acres up near Oklahoma. They used to call that Indian Territory before it became a state. Vernon and up around in there, they leased 1,000,000 acres for $2,000 a year. So used to, back in the early presidential deals, one of the cabinets was Office of Indian Affairs. That person found out and got with Teddy Roosevelt, who was the president. This is in 1905. He said, hey, those cattlemen down there in Fort Worth are really screwing the Indians. They're paying them peanuts on this land. And so they got a hold of W.T. Wagner and Samuel Burke Burnett. No, we're just doing this to entice them. So Teddy Roosevelt gets a hold of the ranchers and says, hey, I'm coming down there. Or, well, back up. The ranchers got a hold of the guy that was the cabinet member of the Office of Indian Affairs and said, hey, look, we're flexible. We can do whatever y'all want to do. Could you send the president down here? We're going to have a fox hunt. So the president came down, and, Teddy Roosevelt was one of the Rough Riders. I mean, he liked that outdoor stuff and hunting and shooting and all of that. And so he came down, and when he left, the cattlemen were no longer leasing the land. They bought it for $2,000. So they stole that land. So a lot of people don't understand why the Indians were upset. That'd be like right now if somebody, Putin came in and just started taking all of our stuff. Hey, Larry, get out of this museum. We like it. Putin likes it, so we're taking it over. I mean, So that one's on the house, Brittany. We'll get them tomorrow for 2. Yes. Oh, yeah. They gave him partnership in a railroad. But he was an alcoholic, there's no question. Along with many other Native Americans and many early day settlers. I guess you didn't have a lot to do. You figure out there's no TV, radio, sports, no nothing. So they drank and shot up the town. That deal about the early days vaudeville type acts, like at the Majestic Theater. That's true, like you saw in Tombstone. The cowboys just started shooting up at the ceiling. I guess all the roofs leaked. It was commonplace. In fact, it was uncommon to see a cowboy in town not wearing a sidearm until things started going south. Horse stealing was probably the worst. Horse stealing was, the punishment was you could be hung on the spot, no trial. So you had a better chance of getting hung for stealing horses than you did shooting and killing an unarmed man. Wyatt Earp was up in Indian Territory and Texas side and stole a horse and rode it all the way to Hell's Half Acre, and they were after him. Then he drifted into the acre, and then he headed on out for another part. It's because I've read it or seen it. Okay, so Bill, we hope you're getting better. Our friend Sandy Flowers is going to keep us updated. They were looking yesterday for a rehab center for her. Like I said yesterday, as we get older, we need to pay attention to where you're walking. It's happened to me a few times. I'm lucky that I could grab hold of something. And I don't know how many trucks, big tractor trailers that I've fallen off of over the years. Back end of pickup trucks. I mean, I'm surprised something I didn't break something. Oh, you're out and about? Bill's out and about. I don't think James has ventured out too much yet. Okay, boys and girls, we've read our sponsors. Please use them. They help keep this thing afloat as well as y'all do. Groups like the Cleburne Group and the Burleson Group, we might luck out and get $50 each out of those two municipalities this year. It all goes to the one cause, the kids. That's all I'm interested in, and y'all are interested in, is the kids. There's Terry Adcock. I hadn't seen you in a month of Sundays. I'm here today until 2. I had to go get my license plate renewed yesterday. Hey, and I thought I was going to have to do the deal to renew your license, your driver's license, but they sent me a deal. I can do it, and I thought I had it right there. Do it by mail. I think this is it. No, that's not it. Maybe I left it at home. Anyway, I can renew it by mail, and I'm going to do that this evening. I thought I had it. Okay, so y'all have a wonderful Tuesday. It's going to be up in the 90s, so try to stay cool.